2004 Santa Fe, just doing brakes on it earlier, and I am going to hopefully find out what this leak is. I think it's transmission or something. Someone may have filled the transmission. This car, I know the previous owner and the owner now, and the transmission fluid's never been changed. On these Hyundais, the Santa Fe after 2001, most of the Hyundais after 2001 do not have a serviceable filter in their automatic transmissions. The ones prior had a spin-off filter, if I'm not mistaken. These ones, the only way to change the filter, it's underneath the valve bodies, and it's only when you do an overhaul of the transmission does the filter get replaced. So this is just a drain and fill. This car's been warmed up, took for like a 30-minute drive, and transmission fluid is warmed up, so I'm just going to remove the splash pan now. There's a bunch of 12mm, I think they're 12 or 13mm bolts all the way around for the splash pan, so there's a whole shitload of them. I'm not going to point them all out to you. If you get under there, you can see which ones they are, and pop them off, and we'll be back. Well, kind of a pisser on this splash shield, because even though I'd hosed down all of these bolts and they were covered in transmission fluid because you got a leaking transmission cooling line up there, it's just dripping. But as you can see, it's dripping a bit, so I'm gonna have to replace that, but not at the moment. Half these bolts snapped. There's nothing I could do to get them out other than snap them. You can't heat them on a plastic shield. They're just gonna melt through, so I just have to drill them out and tap them again. But anyway, once the shield is off, there you can see the drain plug right there. Right, the drain bolt is 24mm. So I am just going to set up the camera here so it doesn't move, or hopefully it doesn't move, and hopefully it doesn't get splashed. Put this light down. Remove the drain bolt. Hopefully without getting in your way. Well, thank God that wasn't in there very stiff. And I bet half of that's going to drip right onto this frame rail here. Why? Because it's going to want to. Oh, look at that. That's like... oh, it could be worse. Slightly reddish. Reddish in the red range. More maroon than anything. So anyway, I'm going to let that drain. Check the basic amount that came out. You know, how many liters. Within a couple liters. Generally just a drain and fill is going to be between 4 and 5 liters. The fluid you do have to use is an SP3, Roman numerals for 3. Hyundai used SP2 and SP3. Valvoline Max Life meets that specification, so you can use Valvoline Max Life. Take a look on the back. It'll say right on the back that it is made for and compatible with Hyundai SP2 and SP3. Because of the non-replaceable filter, they've designed a special fluid, or used a special fluid, transmission fluid, in order to, I guess, keep the probably extra cleaners and stuff in there, extra detergents in there. I'm not sure what the difference is, but anyway, we're just gonna let this sucker drain, then we're gonna refill. Not a hell of a lot more to see here. Put a new washer on the drain bolt when you put it back on. I've got it somewhere, can't remember where the hell I put it, but anyway, new washer on the drain bolt, and I have to tap out these stupid frickin' body bolts. Actually, you know what, I'm probably just gonna... hello! Someone's near the end of draining. If you pull the transmission dipstick, it won't do that little splurgle gurgle thingy, but I'll probably just end up... Thanks, got some in my mouth. I'll probably just end up drilling. I'm not going to drill out a bolt, that's stupid. I'm just going to tap a new hole beside, drill a new hole beside them and bolt them in. Anyway, be back in a minute to refill this sucker. Oh, this is still draining before I forget. The drain bolt is magnetic, so you have all these little pieces of metal filings and clutch pack and Alaskan gold or whatever the hell this is on here. It's just generally metal crap. Anyway, wipe that off and before you put the bolt back in. Anyway, back in a minute. Okay, bottom's back on, the bolt's back on. Just fired a few self-tapping sheet metal screws into the body on the bottom, holding the into the frame where it holds the splash pan up. Pulled the transmission dipstick out and jammed a funnel in there. And this is the Valvoline Max Life. When you focus in on there, and on the back, it will say, where is it? About halfway down, just above BMW, you'll see Hyundai SP2, SP3. Just I think you can see that. I can't tell from here. Hopefully my lens is. Never know if I get anything on the lens. Anyway, it is SP2, SP3 for Hyundai. I got about. I poured out the stuff that I got, poured it into an old jug. I got 5 liters and a bit, so it's almost 6 liters that I pulled out from the drain. So that's we're going to be starting with 5 liters, putting that in, then checking the level. Put 5 liters in, start the car, let it warm up again, put it in run it through all the gears so it sucks the fluid down into all the valve bodies, and then test the level. Better to underfill than overfill. It'll be fine running on 1 liter or 2 liters low. It won't be fine running on 1 liter too much. So put less than you think came out in first, and then add to the line. Don't ever overflow an automatic transmission, or an engine anyway, for that matter. So basically, I'm just going to dump it in. You don't want to watch me dump fluid in. Got the brain toast, must eat. I've got the funnel in there. I'm just going to dump it in there. Back in a few minutes. Okay, I put the 4 liters in, 4.5. Spread the car, put it in all the gears for a few minutes, let it run for about 15 minutes to heat up, and checking the transmission fluid level. So I got almost, 6 liters out. More than 6 liters out, actually, once I measured it properly. And I don't know if you can see that. The level is at the hot level. Sometime it overfilled this transmission, and God, not good for it. So there was almost 2 liters extra fluid in this transmission, from what I can see. So please make sure to measure your fluid when it's hot, on level ground, and don't try and get it up past the level. Just add little by little, and keep it a tiny bit under the level if you can. It's much better for the transmission.